Hey there, interwebs. It's day 6 of VEDA, and I'll give you a short spoiler alert, or two spoiler alerts. First one, there will be no Dexter in this video. I know, I'm sorry. For those that come to see Dexter, you can just go away now. And secondly, I am going to be talking about Wrestlemania 32. I watched my first wrestling event in a long time. I started watching wrestling back in the early 90s, late night WCW on ITV. Had to record it because it was on at 2, 3 in the morning. And after that, it was when I got Sky, we moved on to WWF as it was known back then. But I haven't watched wrestling in a while, since probably about my first or second year of university. I stopped watching, which would have been around 2001, 2002. So yeah, I been, for nostalgia's sake, I was watching some wrestling videos online on YouTube, and thought I'd give it a go since it was here. So this is my review. So first of all was the ladder match for the Intercontinental title. There's about 6, 7, 8 people. It was alright. It was not as good as a ladder match involving just 2 people, I think, or 3. It was okay. It had its moments, had its predictable bits, and the guy I picked out that I wanted to won, although I can't remember his name. Yeah, pretty forgettable, really. Y2J, Chris Jericho, and AJ Styles. I'd heard of AJ Styles from, I think, TNA he was in, and Chris Jericho was around when I was still watching it, so I was backing him, even though he was the heel, not bad guy. But yeah, that was a solid match. It was pretty good. I expect nothing less from Chris Jericho, though. Yeah, that was much better than the ladder match. 6-man tag, League of Nations, whoever they were, and A New Day, whoever they are. I watched A New Day come in. They came out of a giant box of cereal. It's just, what the hell? And I can see that the WWE is still doing gimmicks, and their gimmick for those guys is just crap. It's awful. The match itself was a stock 6-man tag match, or a stock tag match. You know, the bad guys, the heels, would isolate one guy, they'd mock the others, blah 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 blah. The most exciting bit of it was when Cactus Jack, HBK, and Stone Cold came out and kicked some ass. That was fun. Yeah, 3 from my era of wrestling, out the Attitude Era. So yeah, that was fun. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose in a street fight. When I started, or said to people that I was going to be watching Wrestlemania, and the last time I watched was the Attitude Era, people said, prepare yourself for a bit of a shock, and I didn't quite get what they meant, and they said, well, it's because they're in what they describe as the PG era. Wrestling's got very PG, and it was so evident in a street fight. A street fight that didn't go out of the ring really, bit outside, but that was about it. No one bled. Yeah, and it was Brock Lesnar, and I don't like Brock Lesnar as a wrestler. He's not entertaining. It's like, yes, I'm big and strong, and I've been in the UFC. I can kick your ass and take you to Suplex City, because it's all that he seems to be able to do. And yeah, it was boring. I was rooting for Dean Ambrose, but sadly not. Then it was the Hall of Fame induction part. Well, not the induction, that happens earlier in the day apparently. But we got to see who was inducted, and there were some surprises. The first one was The Godfather. Why was The Godfather being inducted into the Hall of Fame? Again, he was a wrestler from my era, and it just seems like he was making up the numbers, really. The Big Boss Man was being inducted, and I don't understand why he wasn't inducted years ago. The Big Boss Man was even before my time, and Sting was inducted, and he also announced his retirement. Sting was my champion. He was the guy who had just beaten Lex Luger, I think it was Starrcade or something, in '92. When I first started watching wrestling, I seemed to catch the show directly after that main event. And yeah, Sting was the guy in WCW. The Women's Championship, they got rid of the idea of a Divas Championship, which is awesome, and started actually taking women's wrestling seriously, it seems. The match itself, other than the Chris Jericho AJ Styles match, was the best match that had happened so far. Good technical wrestling, a few sloppy bits here and there, but good solid wrestling. It's just a shame that Ric Flair's daughter seemed to only be able to do anything with her dad's help, but that's the angle they're playing. Then we got on to the reason I wanted to watch this WrestleMania, Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell. That, as predictable as it was, because it was predictable, I saw bits and pieces of it coming. It was a good match, a really good match. I wanted Shane to win. I didn't realise about The Undertaker's no more WrestleManias for you if you lose stipulation thing until the match was already started. So it was obvious that The Undertaker was going to win. But it was a really good match. It was my highlight, I think, of the entire event. The Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Lots of people that I didn't recognise. A few old faces like Tatanka. I haven't seen him since the mid-90s. Who else? DDP. Love DDP. We do DDP yoga, so it was good to see him in there, although it was sad to see him out so early. But yeah, a bit of fun really, wasn't it? The Rock. The Rock came out to say he was going to break records, but all he did was announce the attendance record. Pretty boring, really, although it's the highest attendance since WrestleMania 3 or something. But then I think it's the Wyatt family came out, and their theatrics coming out are second only to The Undertaker, although Triple H might get in there, but I'll talk about him in a minute. And it was obvious that The Rock was going to have it out with them, then kick their ass, and John Cena came out and helped out, which was cool. But I was disappointed in The Rock because he should have been asking, what was your name? Oh, it doesn't matter what your name is, and he missed that opportunity out. But it was classic Rock. He works so good on a microphone, so enjoyed that. And lastly, we have Triple H versus Roman Reigns, the main event, as they called it, for the WWE Championship. As I haven't seen it in quite a few years, when did Triple H and Stephanie McMahon go to theatre school? I mean, the theatrics in Triple H's intro was just insane. It was just, I don't know, it was just something else. Stephanie McMahon, she seems to be going well overboard. She was a glorified announcer, if that. She did her typical helping out at the ring by distracting the ref and blah blah blah, but it didn't really work. The match itself felt like it was a battle of two heels. I mean, they seemed to, in the build-up, the video build-up, it seemed like they were building up Roman Reigns to be the good guy, and yet no one seemed to like him. Everyone was booing him. So yeah, that was a bit weird. I mean, for a main event, it felt so flat. I mean, I actually didn't even notice when it had finished. I don't know if it is his finisher, Roman Reigns, the Superman punch. He seemed to hit it about 4 times, and it seems really ineffective. I'm sure if he hit me with it, it would hurt a lot. But it was a really lackluster end to a alright main event. I mean, it was 4.5 odd hours or something. I remember back when I was watching it was like 3.5 at most, so that took me for a bit. But yeah, well, 9.5 minutes. I've been talking. So yeah, did you watch WrestleMania 32? They didn't put the name in it. I heard that they stopped putting the name in because it's to make it stop sounding so old. But yeah, did you watch it? Did you like it? Let me know what you think in some sort of comments or something. And yeah, I don't know if I'll continue watching wrestling. I might check in on the main events here and there, but I don't know. It was a bit of fun. You know, I relived some golden old times, but for me, wrestling was still at its best in the Monday Night Wars. I've got that DVD. I might watch it again. Alright then, you go away now.